Boom. We are live. It's Tuesday night. And yes, we're a little early. And the reason we're early is the two guests that I have on tonight are so big and so awesome that they've got a really tight schedule. And it didn't matter what time we needed to go on. We were going on just because they said, let's do it right now. And I was good with that. All I had to do was grab Donna so that she can start putting everybody's names in for the giveaway tonight. Let's don't even waste no time. I am going to bring them right on in here, and it is a countdown, and we're just going to let it be a surprise. Boom, there they are.
Hey, how we made it. All right.
How y'all doing tonight, guys?
What's up, Clay?
Yeah, it's good, man.
Good to finally see you.
Yes, I know. I missed you guys. We should have already been to the PRI show and SEMA.
That's right.
We missed out on all that. I don't know about you guys, but by far of the trade show stuff, I love PRI. I don't know what y'all think. What's your favorite? SEMA for me is like,
It's a lot of fluff, PRI kind of seems to SEMA's SEMA's amazing, right? SEMA's a great for the car guy, the enthusiast, right? It's great for media. There's a lot of content at SEMA, but for us car guys that want to have a specific purpose with our vehicles, man, we just want to cut to the chase, and PRI kind of does that for us.
PRI feels like home to us, doesn't it, Clay?
It does. It does. We're all used to being at the racetrack, and the only weird thing is you'll be at PRI show and you'll see people like dressed up, and you're like, I don't know who that is. That I run into that a little bit every now and then because they don't have. I mean, look at us right now. We all got black.
We don't have our makeup on. Yeah. It's bad.
Yeah, terrible.
So I want to jump into a few things here. So, and when Sean was on, aka Murder Nova, I asked him this, and I'm gonna ask both of y'all this, and I'm gonna go with you first, Farm Truck.
Yeah.
So, do you get aggravated that people call you Farm Truck and not by your name? I mean, because it's really the truck and not you.
Well, no, I don't get aggravated. I would rather people call me Farm Truck than my given name. My family is mostly all gone. I have some brothers and sisters that are left. Don't get to see them as often as I should. But everyone just calls me Farm Truck. It's or Farm. I always say my friends call me Farm Truck. So that's what you should call me.
Well, that's what I've always called you, and I'm gonna come back to that. So
okay.
Asian, in today's world, your name could almost like maybe get people in trouble.
You're right about that. Yeah. It's a little before its time, isn't it?
So how did that come about? I mean, Farm Truck's like a given. Murder Nova is a given.
Yeah.
But I mean, your name is not associated with a car, and I guess it was a true nickname. I mean, kind of where did that come about?
It's definitely a true nickname that got adopted early on, during cruise nights and stuff like that. I think I would, it's just as a joke, I would introduce myself. People are like, oh, my name, hey, I'm Mike. And I'd be like, hey, I'm Asian, right? Like just as a stupid, corny joke. And I think it caught on. I think Farm Truck took with it and ran with it.
Yeah, don't give me that info.
Yeah. And then it honestly, it became everyone's moniker, everyone's avatar on the Midwest Street Cars forum, right? And so we all had to pick our own screen name, and we all adopted that. And some kept them, some didn't, but for the majority of us, we kept them. And then when the show came along, we decided just to keep our names a secret, right? Just in case this show thing was all bogus and was going to go belly up. We would just give them our fake names in case they were cops or something, and it just stuck. They thought it was cute, I guess, and they attached it, added some color to the show, and ever since then, man, we've just kind of kept the name. Also, like Farm was saying, it's just better. It's a disqualifier almost when someone calls you and says your name, your legal name. It's either an attorney, a cop, or one of your family members is going to ask for money.
I always get paranoid when somebody calls me by my real name, like I've done something wrong or I'm about to go to jail.
So There's just certain places that you just know where that name's coming from. So it's been a good separation for the game.
So, it's funny you say that, Farm, because if somebody yells at me, Jimmy Clay, I know immediately I'm in trouble. Jimmy Clay, and that makes me think of, like my grandmother yelling at me and going to, out to the bushes and grabbing a switch and sliding all the, the leaves off of it to tear that rear end up, but yeah, so I get that. I get that. So Farm Truck, you and I met. I am the world's worst, but I know we met at Pink's All Out. You showed up with the farm truck, running by nines with the freaking gate on the camper swinging open. We were all amazed at the truck. I mean, kind of give me the origins of how you ended up showing up at Pink's All Out. You obviously had the truck. You were obviously out street racing. Pink's All Out, what was your first one?
Well, there's a long history there. The first Pink's All Out was in Dallas, but I think I met you in Memphis.
Probably. That sounds about right. That sounds about right.
And we really enjoyed going to those Pink's All Outs. I believe we went to 5 or 6 of them. You didn't see Asian back then because he was living in California. He was kind of gone to college out there, you could say. And he was getting his college education in the
automotive industry.
Yeah, in the automotive industry. He was going to SEMA every year and figuring out what to do. And he had no idea that he was kind of preparing us for this. And it sure did help along, him getting that education. But yeah, we really enjoyed going to those races. It was all weekend long. We'd take time off of work. It was always a lot of fun, a great group of guys. Good fans, and it was fun going out there and surprising people.
Oh, that thing ripped. So I've been doing my little bit of homework. I mean, obviously, everybody feels like they know you guys, but I went on your website. I kind of read, a little bio here and there. So Farm Truck was found at an Auto Trader. Was it a fast truck when you bought it, or was it just a farm truck?
It looked exactly the same as what it looks right now. There's a few little differences. But yeah, it had a small block 400 in it. And I went to look at it and it was raining. And the guy was so disappointed that I showed up to look at the truck in the rain because it's an ugly truck. And I was thinking the same thing that you were thinking the very first time I laid eyes on it. I was like, nope, that's not the truck for me. That's not at all what I had pictured. So then it stopped raining a couple of days later. He called me up and said, hey, I want to meet you in Oklahoma City because I want to give you a ride in this truck. And anyway, he gave me a ride and it was sold because it probably ran a 13. Which is respectable, in the late 90s for a truck like that. And so I immediately bought it, and it changed my life. I wouldn't have met Asian, I wouldn't have met you. It definitely has changed my life.
So I'm just going to continue on my path of questions with you. And Asian, don't feel bad. I got questions.
No, I love it. I love it.
So in doing my little Google research, it says that you were the guy out there with a flashlight. So were you like the big chief? But I'm not saying you're older than Big Chief, but you are. So were you kind of I am too, so don't feel bad. But I mean, were you the guy kind of back in the day, like organizing the races and that sort of thing?
No, not at all. I was the guy that so desperately wanted to go to the street races with my brothers, and they wouldn't allow me to go unless I flagged. And if I flagged, I was allowed to go. So I was all about going. And, it was just awesome for me to get to go out and flag that. I was probably, maybe 10, 12 years old. Doing that right right on Route 66. Did a lot of it.
Wow. So this all really kind of comes from your brothers then. I mean, all of this is your brother's fault because you wanted to go hang out with them and
That
flag the races.
that's right. That's exactly right. Yeah.
So what kind of cars did your brothers have?
It was a Trans Am, it was a Bandit Trans Am.
Oh, wow.
You know, there was an old Chevelle. They were all muscle cars. You know, first gen Mustangs. There was a guy that had a '58 Impala. Um, his name was Troy Wheeler. But it was a group of guys just like this, you know, us now, that would meet at Sonic and decide on who was racing who. They were much older than me, and you know, your older brother never wants the little brother hanging out, you know, because I was always going to say something stupid or. But anyway, man, I was bit even at a younger age than that. There was a few guys that had some muscle cars in the neighborhood, and I'd ride my bicycles by, and I probably bugged the hell out of them because I would always stop and ask them all these questions about these cool Mach 1 Mustangs and you know, old Chevelles and Camaros. There was just something about it. No one else in my family did that. Um, you know, it was my brother's friends that did it. My brothers didn't actually do it. But for some reason, man, I was just drawn to it. I knew what was cool at a young age. Let me say that.
I get it. I get it. So Asian, how about you? I mean, where did the car bug come from?
Yeah, you know, I think that over the series of just events, right? Like, oh, my dad had a family friend that was an entrepreneur at the time, and his name was Donald Bunker, and he owned a company called Energy Suspension, and now in California they manufacture polyurethane bushing, right? So it's just a simple company. They make one part, and they've made a bunch of them. And he was an entrepreneur, and I saw I saw my future self inside with what he was doing. He was turning his passion into money, and my dad let me spend a summer out there with him to kind of see how that works and to see if I'd still like it. And I fell in love with it. Became obsessed with cars because he had a little bit of money, he had some hot rods. So I came back to Oklahoma with a brand new plan, told everyone about it. I'm probably 12 years old. And then I was probably 12. And then I went back when I was 16. So at 16, I had a full-fledged infection of the automotive industry and what I was going to do with it. And from that point forward, I really shaped my life around trying to develop businesses around my hobbies. And my dad saw this. He supported me. He loaned me $2,000 to buy my first car, which was a '64 Chevy Nova. I paid him back in full. And that was my first car. Helped me swap the motor out in it to a V8. I didn't know what I was doing, none of the time. Heck, I didn't know what I was doing until I met Farm Truck, and he showed me everything I did wrong up until that point. So I think
that's what good friends do.
Yeah, the Farm Truck. He was the first one to point out that my fuel line is going to catch on fire and help me replace that evening. And then that point forward, I realized that that the friends you surround yourself with, the ones that you keep, are the ones that are going to help move you down that path even faster. So Farm Truck kind of took me under his wing, became my automotive mentor and best friend. And from then on, man, we just kind of let life just avalanche on top of us. And man, this whole thing's just been a ride that we never anticipated, just by being friends with one another and by doing the stuff that we thought is stupid. Right. So, yeah. Fast forward, long story short, but that's kind of where it hit.
That's amazing. So is there like some crazy story how y'all met, or did y'all just happen to end up in the same Sonic parking lot at the car night?
At the time, Farm Truck was just going rogue. He was going Mad Max on the car scene with his truck. He was terrorizing everybody, he was kind of becoming a legend amongst street racing stories with that truck. And I had a little car club called the Shifters at the time. And every one of our car club guys was going after that orange truck, and they'd all come back with the same sad face and their head down saying, "No, he got me. He got me." And I was the last one. I was the captain of this car club. So I was going after Farm Truck. And so I happened to roll up on him at the right time. and we smashed the loud pedal a few times, and every time I just couldn't get around him. And from that moment on, we pulled over, and you know, I was a cocky little just jerk kid and with a loud mouth, but Farm Truck, he took that with grace. You know, he saw past that. He saw past the obnoxious adolescent that was trying to learn something, and really, he didn't shut his hood and say, "Hey, not today, kid. You're not going to learn anything today." He opened his hood. He showed me how he cut his gas tank apart and how he hit his fuel pump and his fuel lines to make it a sleeper. I just thought that was really cool that someone, rather than take an opportunity to really run me back into the ground and bully me with their win, to show me how they won. And that's we became best friends. And then the jokes were flying, and we became best friends.
That was, I don't know, almost 20 years ago, and the jokes have been flying, and we've been laughing for 20 years. So
I mean, that's awesome.
yeah, I always say that it's the cars that bring us together, but it's the people that keep us together.
Nothing ever been better said than that right there. I mean, it's amazing how cars bring people together, and it doesn't take long to figure out, like, this is a real car guy, or it's somebody that's just here just because it was cool for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, the guys like us that have been doing it forever, I mean, there's something cool about that, and it doesn't matter. I mean, just like you guys, you know, we don't see each other all the time, but you know, I pick up the phone today, you know, typical Donna, my wife, sitting over here last minute. She's like, it's kind of last minute to be calling Asian to find out if he'll do this tonight. And I'm like, they're car guys. They get it, you know? I mean,
Yeah, sure.
That's right.
Yep.
it's what we do. But so I'm just going to keep moving along here. Like I said, I got a few things I want to cover, and I know you guys got to go, and I appreciate you doing this so
we're here
quick.
for you, Blake.
Yeah, we're here for you, man.
Well, I appreciate that. So if I just say the date, June 10th, 2013, does that mean anything to you guys?
June 10th, 2015. Ooh, that might have been was that the first day? Is that the first episode?
June 10th.
Is that the first?
Yeah, I don't
And
know.
remember, I looked this up on the internet, so that don't
Yeah.
mean it's,
Is that the start of Street Outlaws?
it was.
Okay.
It was.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Was
So
I there?
first-
Was I there? I'm not sure.
it would take me a minute to look through here, but Farm Truck, I think there is not an episode that you have not been on. And the time of this Google that I found, it was like 360 some episodes, and you've been in every one of them.
Oh my God, really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Dang.
Dang.
Now, that's on the internet. That don't mean it's right. That's what I'm saying.
No, that's true.
Yeah, that's right.
So June 10th, 2013, where did y'all sit and watch the first episode? Where were y'all at?
Oh my God, that floods the memories right there
Yeah,
a little
that's-
bit. I think we went to Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
I think we tried we were like, oh, we're gonna do this thing. Let's go to Twin Peaks, and
Yeah, we wanted to have a watch party. We thought it'd be pretty cool.
we're idiots.
And, yeah. We didn't realize that we probably shouldn't watch our show because we're going to look stupid.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And we also didn't realize that you have to pay for the bill at the end of this,
Yeah.
and no one else is helping us. Needless to say, and a lot of them didn't stick around to the end, and we got an alcohol and food bill that was probably enough to let us not do that again.
Yeah, that happened.
So, go ahead.
So before June 10th there, how did this all come about? I mean, like, some producer shows up, and I mean, I've watched a lot of the YouTube videos, kind of what you guys were doing before the show. But I mean, did y'all have a clue that this was, you couldn't have had a clue, but when that person showed up and said, we want to make a TV show, did y'all both think, oh, a bunch of BS, or did you take it for real?
Well, now we did an episode of Pinks, and we actually wound up doing 2 episodes of Pinks.
Yeah.
So we had to look through the keyhole in the television world there, and they wanted to do a show about street racing, and so they started researching on the internet, and everywhere they looked, it came down to Oklahoma City because of Big Chief's website, Midwest Street Cars,
Big Rob,
and then Limpy in Dallas, DFSSS, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
DFW.
that's I don't know. I'm still not a computer guy. Haven't even
We
figured that
live
out. So anyway, they got a hold of Chief, and Chief thought that they were cops, and he didn't trust them. And he thought that it was some big sting operation. Yeah, and then finally he realized that it wasn't, and they were going to come here. Chief, asked us if we wanted to be involved. At the time, Asian had just moved back from California. He'd been back a couple of weeks, and we kind of did interviews over the phone, and we were like, "Wow, is this really going to happen? What are we going to do? How are we going to act? And then we thought, when the cameras actually showed up, we thought, man, we're just going to be ourselves. And, if people don't like us, there's nothing that we can do about that because we're not actors. We're not able to, act and memorize lines and read a script. And we just took the ball and ran with it. And we kind of just acted like the cameras weren't there.
that shows.
Yeah, I think that what we still do today even is we just laugh at each other's jokes, right? So constantly, I'm just trying to make him laugh. He's just trying to make me laugh. So as long as we're just paying attention to each other's, where we're going with the joke, it all works out. And quite honestly, if we can't laugh at each other's joke, it's over, right?
That's
like
right.
It's done. So if we don't think it's funny, no one's gonna think it's funny. And we think we're idiots, right? Like we can't help but laugh at one
Well,
another.
we confirm that.
Yeah, morons. So anything that we say to each other just comes out as gibberish in our minds, and it's hilarious to us. And so, yeah, it's just the way it happened, and it ended up people could lower their intelligence to ours,
Yeah,
and laugh at it with us.
So the show kind of evolved. So Farm Truck early on, the first few seasons, you kind of moved up and down the list, and then you kind of became the gatekeeper.
Yep.
And then as the show kept going, I mean, the cars just got insane. They got out of control, crazy. And I love it because, y'all know I love stomping on the loud pedal and going fast. But you two guys really took and ran with y'all's friendship and have made part of that show the Farm Truck and Asian show. And I love that. I'm not saying that in a bad way because it's fun. It's fun watching the silly things, goofy things that y'all do. It makes it fun to watch. I mean, did that just naturally happen to the point? And I'm not knocking Farm Truck at all because it's fast. But what the rest of those guys did become like crazy fast. And
right.
Without you altering Farm Truck in some way, that wasn't going to suit what Farm Truck is, it was cool to see what you two did. I mean, was that something y'all worked on and talked about together, or did you just keep being you?
Well, first of all, we didn't want to deface the truck to make it faster, and that's what we were going to have to do. We're going to have to put carbon fiber on it and slam it to the ground. The truck's a sleeper, so we stayed true to that. And we've always done on the show what Asian and I thought of. We've always included everyone on our crew, all the cameramen, the producers, the PAs, everyone, and we always shared ideas and came up with something good that we were both comfortable with. And a lot of it just naturally happened. And it surprised us, that all of this great stuff kept happening. And we're still in awe over it all. We're regular guys with a cool job, and that's all we are.
Yeah, I think also in our minds, behind closed doors, Farm Truck and I are always having these conversations about where the show's going, and we don't have control over 99% of it, right? And so, which is fine by us. We've learned that that's the way this kind of business works. But we've always prepared ourselves for the show to outgrow us, right? Mm. And so we've always kind of had these behind closed doors conversations saying, hey, let's just stick with the plan. Let's just keep doing us. And if one day the audience or the show outgrows us, so be it. We had an amazing ride, and we still stick to that.
I'm with you on that. I mean, me and my wife, the way we make a living, very much the way you guys do. It can all go away, boom, like that.
Yeah.
Right.
And we tell ourselves all the time, hey, if it goes away tomorrow, you know, we have had a heck of a ride. We've enjoyed it. And if I got to go back to Kroger and start driving a forklift, that's just the way it is, you know. I mean, I get it, you know, but it shows on you, and hopefully it, you know, people see that in me, that I love what I get to do and I appreciate it. And I definitely see that in you two guys. And so I got to ask though, you said, Farm Truck, you said that, you know, these ideas come and you run with them. So now I'm kind of looking towards Asian a little bit. And I said something about this because we were on the phone together the other day. Who in the world had the bright idea of nitrous bottles and a freaking chair?
I'm sorry.
I don't remember.
I'm sorry.
What's he talking about?
That never happened.
What's okay?
Yeah.
All right. If people keep talking about this chair,
He doesn't remember.
I don't remember it.
Really, right? Well, I was driving by a dumpster, and I saw an office chair in it. So, and I'm a dumpster diver. I dug it out, and went over to the mad scientist, and said it'd be really cool if we put nitrous bottles on this. So we spent all day on the chair, building it, making it happen, making sure it wasn't going to come apart. That was a tough chair. And you know, I took about an hour to strap it down to the floor. You know, the film crew, they were probably worn out waiting for me to get these straps on, because I strap it one way and I didn't like it, and I strap it another, and we had no idea that was going to happen. But as soon as we pulled those strings, I was immediately sorry that we did that, and I'm still sorry that we did that. It's funny now to millions of people, but it's not funny to me because I almost killed someone. And I'm glad Asian can laugh about it. But also Asian, it's an unofficial world record that he pulled more G's than any other human on the planet.
Yeah, we did the math, and for a split second, it was definitely total loss of consciousness if anybody else was to put in that position long term. But you know, again, Farm Truck was putting this thing together. He's an artist, and so he's putting this statue together. All the while, I haven't shown up yet. I literally haven't. I walk in. Farm Truck tells me, "Hey, we're filming today." I'm like, "Okay, what are we filming?" He goes, "Just walk in, and whatever happens." And so I walk in. He's got this chair there, just sitting there, really, no straps or nothing yet, I don't think. And then I think he had a mannequin in it, and I looked at it, and it was pretty unassuming, Clay. It didn't look that intimidating, and none of us thought it looked scary.
No, the mad scientist, he was going to sit in it. I was going to sit in it.
Yeah.
And Asian, you know, he said, I'll sit in it. And we thought, okay, well, he's the youngest. You know, let's let him try it.
Yep. And I got in, and it was like a, you know, hand in a glove. I was like, oh, I got this, right? Like, and then I was like, hey, maybe whether they were prepared or not for it, I asked for coveralls in case the nitrous bottle burned me through the, you know, the gas. And then I asked for a helmet just in case. The helmet was even just stupid. It just looked stupid, right? And so, and then Farm Truck had a little tie down strap, a little go-kart tie down on my lap. Outside of that, man, it was as redneck as it could get. But we're just idiots. We didn't know it was going to happen like that.
It was frightening to watch. It really was. And there was no doubt that it scared you. I mean, you could see that, you know. And
I thought I killed him.
Asian was out of it, you know.
I still check him from time to time to make sure he's not dead.
I'm alive.
Okay, thank you.
It didn't get to me yet.
It scared me again.
No, he did. As fast as I was spinning, I can understand now why they were concerned. Of course, I'm in there, just holding on, just like, okay, when's it gonna be over? But on the outside, they couldn't see anything. They couldn't see my face. They didn't know if I was conscious.
We couldn't see his legs. It was a blur. So a backstory to that is they filmed that, and then our producer showed it to Discovery, and they were like, "We can't show that." Legal got involved. Attorneys started watching it, and they were like, "There's no way that you could show that." And our producer is one smart individual, and he said, okay, how about if I don't speed it up and show it in normal speed? And then he slowed it down and showed it to them. So what you guys saw was a slowed down version.
Really?
Yes. Anyway, so they said, okay, with all the disclaimers in the world, they did one in every 2 minutes.
Yeah.
And during the whole thing, when our faces pop up, there's a disclaimer.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was smart enough to know what to say to get that through to where it could be on TV. Very smart man.
And if you listen to it very carefully, the moment they pull the strings, they added like a little, I forget what they call it. It's a scream though that they used back in the 1950s when they were first doing television. And they made me scream. I didn't scream, but there's a scream that they added in there.
That was me.
Okay.
That was me.
Yeah. Oh, this whole time I thought it was.
Yeah, it was an older scream.
Yeah.
Right? Like 20 years older than you.
Yeah,
that was me.
I thought so. It was a black and white scream.
So I've got to guess that maybe that may have been is that the dumbest thing I've ever done on the show?
Yeah, that's the dumbest thing, period. That's
the dumbest thing I've ever done in my life.
Yes, period. I'll never repeat that.
You know, there's always this thing that we call farm truck luck. And we're just lucky individuals. My engine builder, Mark Brown in Salina, Kansas, he always says, God protects fools. That's us.
Yeah. We tell farm truck that there's magic in that hat. And there's something about, I think it comes down to just you can call it whatever you want. We call it farm truck luck. It's good karma. It's good deeds. It's reaping what you sow. It's in life we've taught ourselves that if we can keep doing the right thing will happen to us, and it's paid dividends.
100% agree with that. But
yeah.
I kind of felt like that probably was the craziest thing. But I mean, if you just let your memory run there, look, y'all have done a lot of crazy stuff. Farm truck, I've seen you jumping, not the actual farm truck, but I've seen you jumping dirt mounds. I've seen lawnmowers be towed at a high rate of speed.
Yeah.
That's crazy stuff to not be trained stuntmen. You think about that. I mean, I bring up the chair because that was frightening. That really was. So I didn't know if that had to be at the top of the list or if something else pops in your mind that maybe we haven't seen, because you two have done some nutty things.
I mean, to be continued.
But wait, there's more.
Oh, the unknown. There's some stuff coming up that we have to press hard because there's a couple copies, one for us and one for the attorney.
That's right.
So there's going to be some more stupid, but
there will be more disclaimers.
Yeah, in our minds, it just we never really think about it that far, I guess. Right?
It's like you don't think about the consequences of what could happen to you whenever you get in that top fuel car. You never do.
You just do it.
And you just do it,
Yeah, you trust your people around you. You trust the equipment. You trust yourself. And then the rest is faith, right?
Yeah.
And you can't overthink faith. You can't overthink hope. You just got to be like, okay, I've done everything I can. I've checked all the boxes. Let's rip it.
So speaking of those future disclaimers, and I'm not going to say anything other than you guys contacted me a couple weeks ago to ask some technical questions. And I'm going to leave it at that. But if you want to elaborate on kind of what you guys got going with my buddy Jeff, talking about Jeff Lutz, what have you guys been up to during the, kind of the first part of winter here?
Yeah.
Well, we've been working on the Farm Truck and Asian show. We've been trying to pitch that and get that off the ground for years now. And finally, we got started in January, February, and then we got shut down for COVID for 8 months. And now we're back at it, and we're going to finish these 8 builds. It'll be 8 episodes. And there was a teaser show that Discovery showed over the summer, I think it was, and they showed all 8 builds. And what we were working on, whenever we needed to call you, was the air cannon car. So it's going to be a very interesting vehicle. We're not sure if it'll work, but there will be some unknowns there.
Yeah, there's a lot of unknowns. There's a lot of, yeah, we can only science it so far.
So let me just tell y'all this. So I spent the weekend at the race shop, which is in Southern Illinois, with my crew chief, who is a multi-time world champion, extremely smart individual. And he and I talked about this. Asian, you're going to sign some more disclaimers.
You think so? All right. It's been an interesting road all the way to this point. We knew that eventually we would have to do our own thing, whether it's YouTube, whether it's doing our own Facebook podcast or anything. We knew that sooner or later we would have to find our own lane, and I think the show kind of knew that too. Now we're still involved heavily with Street Outlaws, but we're kind of leaving, like you said, that list has gotten so crazy, and the evolution of it to where we don't want to play that hard. We want to do other things. We'd rather build 5 stupid things than 1 serious one, if you know what I mean. And so this has allowed us to be able to at least keep our creativity while still getting to race and fulfill our need for speed. And so we couldn't have done this without Jeff Lutz, of course, which happens to be, your buddy, and you guys have known each other probably longer than we've known Jeff Lutz. So he's a heck of a fabricator. He's fast. He's an artist. He cares about what he does, and he cares about us. So him building these vehicles, we could have hired any fabricator, right? Any fabricator may have been happy to be on television, but they're not going to care about us, right? So we brought in a guy that gives a shit and gives a shit about us.
That's right.
Absolutely. And I can tell you this, and I'm not just saying it because we got tons of people watching. He truly loves you guys. I mean, me and him talk several times a week usually, and the air cannon car you mentioned, he's called me about that a lot. He's like, that's kind of more my world, a dragster type vehicle.
Right.
So, he definitely cares about y'all a lot. But have you ever seen a guy that can just look at something, go cut it, it fits, he welds it? Him and Jeffrey amaze me. I've been to their shop. They're working on a cool project of mine. And actually, they were working on a cool project of yours too, Asian, at the same time. So those 2 projects, which the world haven't seen either one of those yet, they've kind of got to be buddies setting up in Pennsylvania. But Jeff and Jeffrey, they are definitely 2 special father-son individuals, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
Wait till you see this cannon car. The sheet metal work that those 2 have done on this cannon car is unbelievable.
Oh my God.
I mean, it would take, a sheet metal aviation fabricator 30 years to do, and Lutz has never worked on an airplane before. Bam, it's perfect.
That's what we call you, Clay. Never worked on an airplane, so let's call Clay. He's the fastest thing to an airplane on the ground. So we called you for some advice on some aerodynamics, obviously, with that thing, and trying to keep that thing planted, and you gave us some fine advice there. But yeah, there's no other. Jeff Lutz is an alien, right? Like there's no one. I've never seen.
He's an alien.
So watching him work and just scratches it. He says he builds this stuff in his sleep, like literally he dreams it. Then he comes to the shop and puts it together. What he builds in 2 months, it would take me a lifetime.
Oh, absolutely. He's amazing. He's amazing. I'm going to keep moving because I'm going to let you guys go here shortly. So tell me about the firehouse. I have made a trip by there. You guys weren't there, but I tagged it.
Yeah, we saw your sticker on the door.
We love it.
Yeah.
But tell me about the firehouse. Is that something where fans can come by? Just tell me all about the firehouse.
I want to talk about that sticker for a second.
Okay.
Whenever we're in the middle of filming, we don't have time to notice or look at anything, right? So that sticker is on there, and I thought, oh, some kid with a junior dragster must have stuck his sticker on our door. And then, I don't know, it was probably a month later, I actually read Clay Millican on it. And I thought, Okay, not so junior.
Yeah, I'm closer to senior than I am junior now.
Yeah. But that firehouse was kind of not really a mistake. Farm Truck kind of was driving by it one day, I think, and saw that it was coming up for rent or for sale. And we were working out of a place just on the south side of town, one bay shop, just 700 square feet or whatever. And it was getting cramped. And Farm Truck saw, well, we need to find some way to expand. And he thought, well, at least check on this place, right?
Right. And it was way more money than we wanted to spend. It was $1,000 a month. And yeah, that's a lot of money, because I was paying 300 over at my other place. With all the other bills you have, an extra $1,000 a month, we didn't know where we were going to get the money, but we took a chance. And we have it all fixed up now to where fans can come by. We sell T-shirts, stickers, and all kinds of 405 stuff. But Asian is our designer. Everything that you see there, it's his design. He's a graphic designer by trade. So he already knew about making T-shirts and stickers and signs, banners, all that stuff. That we use all the time. All the banners that we have back here, Asian makes them all. And everything that we sell, it's got Asian's fingerprints on all of it. And I'm really proud of that. All the construction work that's been done, that's been me. I drove a few nails in over there, and Asian, he's more of the business,
I think Farm Truck likes to be modest, but if you ever walk into a house of blues, you'll see Farm Truck's fingerprints everywhere, because when Farm Truck was in his journey days, when he was in his construction tour, he built several House of Blues for Dan Aykroyd and his team, and they looked towards Farm Truck to help them with the rough around the edges design. They wanted a little bit more of a common man appeal. They didn't want it to look like a dive bar, but they wanted it to look like it's been there for 1,000 years. And Farm Truck had this vision of what it was going to be, and started repurposing material. And I really think that Farm Truck was one of the originators in destoration, just taking repurposed material, putting it back to use, and making it look cool. That's Farm Truck's forte.
Well, thank you for saying that. But I just used what I had, like the Farm Truck. I used what I had, and I never thought that there was anything wrong with repurposing wood or anything like that. And I always liked the old look, and I like making things look old. So
yeah, and if you walk into the firehouse, you'll notice that taste of House of Blues, that kind of that Louisiana feel, that voodoo vibe, and it's got that, and it's nonstop. Every time you walk in, even me, I'll see something new, something's been moved around. It's just, to me, it's a live environment in there, as small as it is.
So Farm Truck, you're an artist in your own way. You are truly an artist.
Yeah, I think anything creative is art. And I've created a couple things in my day. And anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Just because it's not in a museum doesn't mean it's not art. Or just because it's not, yeah.
I agree, 100% agree. And that was my clothes. That means I need to go fold clothes. That was my So I'm just going to keep rolling, because I'm trying to get as much stuff in before I let you go. If I say pimp juice, what's the first thing that comes to mind?
Man, that takes us back to our roots right there. Farm Truck created that product with his mind.
So in my Google, before you answer Farm Truck, and I'm glad you said that, Asian, because in my Google research today, all right, we had a brief moment of, I don't know what that was. We threw the rods out there for a minute.
Difficulty.
Technical difficulty. So I was just saying, Pimp Juice founded in 2006, long before the debut of Street Outlaws. So was that, you're not only an artist, but a chemist as well?
Well, so we went to a Cash Days in 2006, and it was in Dallas. And every one of us had forgotten our traction compound, our VHT.
Yep.
So I went around to some other guys and I was like, hey, can we borrow some of yours? And they were like, well, you can borrow some of that VHT, but you can't borrow my mix. And I thought, these guys are mixing this stuff to make it special, because we weren't. And then I thought, okay, if they can mix it, I can mix it and make it better. So I started experimenting, with some old tires and stuff like that. And, got the farm truck out and rolled through it, and I kept mixing on it. And I don't know what I'm doing, but I kept mixing on it until we got these huge strings that came off the tires. And I thought, okay, let's go with this. And it seemed to work really, really well. So I started bottling it and selling it. And then, the next thing Asian takes over. I don't know, Asian.
Yeah.
Asian took it to the next level.
And that was kind of an inspiration as well. When I came back from California, Farm Truck had already created this blend and a brand in itself. And we started, Farm Truck was making, we were shipping it out. We had we had all the proper shipping labels and hazardous equipment certifications and all that. But then the show started coming around and the juice wasn't worth the squeeze, right? We started putting all our efforts and energy into this show, and shipping it became a pain. We started worrying about the carcinogenics. We started worrying about our health and inhaling the crap. And one day, one of the vats full of pimp juice, we just mixed a whole vat of I don't know, 100 gallons of it, and the valve failed. And it dumped. The farm truck opened the door to the shop.
It filled up my shop. And whenever I showed up there that morning, as soon as I opened the door on my truck, I smelt it. And I thought, oh my God. And I ran in there and there was a lake. It was a lake of pimp juice all over the bottom of my shop.
It turned the shop into a Jello mold. So that was the end. That was the bitter end. But we were okay with it. And then we started going and noticing that we still needed a mix, and we didn't want to really borrow anybody else's because it kind of goes against what we were doing. It's just, you don't want some other man working on your car, and so you kind of want to work on it. So we started mixing it again. And then we thought, okay, well, if we're going to do this, let's do it right. And we got a hold of, or a guy, it's a longer story that I'm saying, but we got a hold of a chemist. He deformulated every single traction compound out there. He told us what was BS and what was real. And there was only two real ones at the time. And that was BP and PJ1. And he said, we can make it better. And we said, no problem. We took the leash off this guy. He created 100 different blends. We figured out which one was best. And today we sit on what we feel in a lab and on the street is absolutely the stickiest traction compound on the planet. And that's a fact. We make it from scratch. We don't mix it and rebottle it. We don't add food coloring to VP and put it in a black bottle. This stuff comes in a block of polymer. We use methanol. It's non-carcinogenic. You can pour it on a plant and not kill it. So we've created the ultimate product, and we're proud of it.
And if you read I don't know what it would say, like the tagline, you drive over this sticky, icky shiz. See, I did my research today.
You did.
You're good. You're good, Clay.
I can't remember all of it, but I did read it today.
Those
Guys,
are the directions. Asian wrote
Do what?
Those are the directions of pimp juice, and it's mainly a bunch of bull. It's really a joke, but and it is hilarious. So.
Yeah, and Lou helps us with some of this stuff, but hey, we like making fun of the stuff that we sell, and even though it's serious stuff, we don't need to tout it like that. We just have fun with the marketing of it.
Oh, no doubt. And Asian, you do a great job. I mean, because I know if you go to y'all's website, there are products on there for other street outlaws, the little cars. So I know that's you, Asian, and I think that's pretty cool. You not only take care of you and Farm Truck, but you kind of spread it out to the guys that y'all work with. I think that's pretty awesome.
Well, we always say that if you want to be successful, You have to wish success for everyone around you. And we want everyone to be successful with this. And then that's why Asian got on that. And that's why we've done it.
Yeah, I think it's important to, you can tell someone, maybe you know how to be successful. You can tell someone to. You can show someone how to be successful. But the way to make someone successful is to actually try to lead by example and take what they're already using and show them that they can make money with what they already have. Sometimes that's not even enough. But I'm just tired of these self-help books and all of these companies making money off of telling people what to do when there's nothing applicable. What's applicable is you pick up the pieces and run with it and make it successful and show them how to do it, and maybe they can do it on their own.
I agree. So what you guys don't know, if you hadn't watched this, every week we do a cool giveaway. Everybody that is logged in, my wife Donna's been over here typing their name in a random name generator. And I'm going to tip to line this up.
What are we giving away?
What do you got?
I'll show you. It's pretty cool.
What if
All right,
we
and
want
the winner is Chris Ray.
Chris
and I
Ray?
can tell you
That's
for
me.
sure,
That's me. That's my real name.
Chris Ray.
That's my
Well,
real name. I won.
So along with some other things, they're winning this. It is a bobblehead of I think it looks like Kyle Busch with my fire suit on. See, there he is. I know y'all are looking through Lou's phone there, but
Wow, that's good.
Wow, that's a good looking bobblehead.
we can make one of those show up at the firehouse. But
Is that you, Clay? Is that your own bobblehead, Clay?
Yeah, this is like in a series. So Denso, that's one of my sponsors, they did this one, and Parts Plus has done a few over the years, and I have not seen one yet that I thought looked like me. The last one looked like Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton.
Yeah. So
I think it's great.
I think wherever these things are made, they've got like X number of, white guy with brown hair, and so it's Bill Clinton.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Lego guys.
Yeah,
exactly. So Chris Ray, you are our winner. Hopefully you're still tuned in, even though we had a little glitch and it dropped out there for a minute. Send me or Jolie Millican your address, and we're going to send you some cool stuff. Farm Truck Asian, you guys were awesome for doing this so last minute. Cannot wait to see the new show. Cannot wait to see those builds completed. And at some point, I'll come hang out with you and you two guys and Jeff and that project you're working on, Asian, and the project that I'm working on that Lutz is kind of in charge of right now. Someday we are going to have some fun and loud them up along with the farm truck. I might just have to be making right now. I may be making an official call out of the farm truck.
I like this. I like this.
Wait a second. He's the fastest guy on the planet, Asian.
I'm gonna
calm down.
I'm gonna put him in that chair.
Yeah, Asian may technically be the fastest guy on the planet riding in that freaking chair.
He might be. I know he's the fastest street outlaw, that's for sure.
Oh, I agree with that. But so, Jeff's been working on this project of mine. It's really cool. And it was my son's truck. And my wife has been joking that it's a 5-year project. And I'm like, oh, it's no way it's a 5-year project. But how long are we into it now?
It's coming up on 5 years.
It's coming up on 3 years probably, but we're all working, it's just part of the deal. It's something that it is a project of absolute love for me and Donna. And it's the same thing with Jeff and Jeffrey. It was my kid's truck. It's going to be awesome. But I'm telling you right now, at some point, I'm gonna call out the farm truck.
It'd be an honor.
Well, it would be. That'd be great.
And you know what? It's a truck. It's a 4-door, so it's a big old long lead sled thing.
It's a Mordor. We love a Mordor.
Yeah, exactly. And that's something I didn't get to. Look at this list of vehicles you guys have that I didn't know.
Don't show that to our insurance adjuster.
I'm just going to read this off real quick. You got farm truck, you got the dung beetle, you got the Firebird, you got the Hearse, the Goneril, Jeeper Sleeper, Mordor Nova, the Chevy 2, the D, and the skid truck. Y'all got a lot of cool toys out there.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
and I
man.
probably missed them.
I don't know. It's we need to sell some of those.
Did that happen?
We need to sell some of
Wow.
these. See, Richard Rawlings did it right. He build them and sell them. We got a problem, Clay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need to build an addition is what we need.
Got to add on to the firehouse.
Yeah.
Guys, again, thank you so much. I've kept you way longer than I intended, but I think it was a good time for everybody to watch. I know I enjoyed it. Thank you, and I look forward to seeing you guys very soon.
It was an honor to be a part of it, and thanks for having us.
See you next time.
All right.
Brad.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. See ya.
See you, buddy.
Hey,
What do we do?
too.
What do we do?
We just keep talking.
Okay.
We just
Just
keep talking.
hang on tight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stream.
Hey, Farm Truck and Asian here. Thank you for sticking around and watching our YouTube videos.
Since you're a viewer and hopefully a subscriber, drop by our website, okcfarmtruck.com, and use discount code FnA YouTube to get 10% off your next order.
It's our way of saying thank you.